Let me tell you a story. During my stay in the capital, where I was going to study for finance, the first week for freshmen that you're going to start at university, it is, at least in my country, a custom norm that the first week the school arranges these kind of party groups that freshmen are allowed to enter, simply meet classmates and meet different kind of people, and you're simply drinking. You're drinking every day from usually Monday to Friday. You can decide if you want to attend or not. From my experience with attending two different colleges is that the drinking week is very important to kind of find people and get to know them, because you'll get kind of a head start when you're going to attend class later. When I was in that capital, I knew simply no one. I was going to a completely new school that I never heard of. We met up at parks, we met up at home, drink before we head out to different places. I really tried to kind of latch on to people, because once you get to know them, you kind of want to stay, right? You don't want to make small talk and never gain any significant gains. I don't know, man. The kind of people that I met wasn't really interesting to me. You kind of pretend that you're interested in what they're talking about, but seemingly for me, the only thing that really piqued their interest was just drinking more. They talked about places they've been to, simply talked about girls that I had no idea about. I didn't know who they were, and couldn't find myself to be very interested in those girls either. But the thing is, I knew very well that you kind of need to connect to someone, because you need them to work on group projects later. Well, you don't want to be alone when attending in class. You kind of want people to be around. I've already made another video about trying to fake your own kind of personality to kind of fit into a larger group, and how that just makes you unattractive and kind of suspicious, to be honest. I didn't have any significant contacts with any of people in class. Isn't it weird how you've maybe been in similar kind of situations where you're being forced into new settings where you try to meet different people? Either it's in a school setting, maybe it's you join a new club, try out new hobbies and try to meet new people. In these kind of new settings, you feel like you're being kind of fried in your head. You're getting anxious. You think about very subtle, subconscious things. You think about how you stand, how you appear in front of other people. You're halfway in the conversation and you're halfway thinking about how the way you want to be perceived by other people. Whilst you're being fried in new kind of settings, isn't it weird how you can seemingly just hop on Discord, just log on with the boys, the old friends that you've always had, sit there and game, pull an all-nighter, hours and hours in front of a screen with other people that you know already. Some settings, being near people just seems effortless, whilst other times it just feels really very draining on your mentality. In this video, I'm going to prove a very common statement about being introverted and being extroverted wrong, and prove to you that you're a lot more outgoing than you really think you are. I believed for a very long time people are usually categorized into two different people. You got the people who are extroverted, very outgoing, they get energy from being with people, kind of the perfect friend to have when you go out to clubbing and he kind of carries the conversation for you. Other kind of spectrum is that we have introverted people. Those are the opposite. They usually kind of prefer to be alone. I've always believed that kind of statement that I'm an introvert. I don't want to be around other people. I've kind of used that label. I'm introverted, right? It kind of explains why I don't want to be around other people. I can only have very few friends, if any at all. This challenge can stem from many things. And one simple solution to the reason why it's so hard to kind of find people that you really associate really well with is simply due to the fact that people are just more antisocial. You got technology. You can't really tell them to put their phone away and try to push on yourself onto them. It doesn't really work like that. You go to the gym, you would really like to have a sparring partner. You would like to have a bro who just helps you with your lifts. But seemingly everyone is just, they just kind of ignore you. The technology fever is just simply something that you have to adapt to. You can't really change that one thing. I'll give you that. There are just less short social places where just simply men can meet. Like 100 years ago, it was quite common for just young men who kind of want to develop. They just want to associate with other men. You can just head down to the local bar, just find other men there, and you talk about man things. You get told different stories about how your dad just grew up, or you just kind of arm wrestle. You just do manly, simple activities to kind of bond with other people. And it's much more easy because in that kind of social sphere, they're a lot more social. That kind of male sphere, this male atmosphere and meeting places have sort of vanished. And I really think about how about housing prices have increased so much. People my age are kind of talking about buying their own apartment. More and more people in my country does not even have the ability to kind of buy a house unless you want to live in the woods. They can't really buy a house with a garden for their own children. It's just cramped apartment with a partner. They have no outdoor space. I really think about their children. Seemingly, if you want to have active, social, creative children, you need to have them do creative activities, right? They need to go outside. They need to meet other people and such. When people just buy very cramped apartments and it's just the side of the road, you don't want your children to play in the road because it's dangerous. So you keep them inside. Of course, in a cramped apartment, it's not really fun for your children. He's kind of nagging on you as a dad. It's kind of nagging that you want to go outside, they want to do activities, but you don't really want to. So you give them technology, you give them an iPad, of course. Once the children just get this kind of iPad, of course they're not going to do other activities because the iPad is just so much fun. They don't want to let go. It kind of creates this evil cycle where children are just hooked on technology, don't really socialize with other people, don't learn how to integrate themselves with other people. So naturally, when they kind of get older and seemingly are kind of forced into social exchanges, they simply can't handle it because they haven't learned that important skill. And naturally, I would think that more and more people are just becoming more introverted and they can just label themselves as such. Like, oh, I don't like people, I don't like social interactions, I must be introverted. Like that's the kind of the only solution to it. I just find it really concerning as well. Every time I'm driving home to my hometown, every trip I need to cross like different football pitches to kind of get home. And the one local to us, every time I kind of drive past this outdoors area, this football pitch, no one's there. Seemingly, I think about the times that my siblings, who's a bit older than me, and my father, they always told about the football pitches were always just so crowded. You can always just meet up at the pitch and you'll definitely find people. As long as you just had the ball with you and you just arrived at the pitch, you always had friends to play with. And there you just have me, just a little kid and want to go to the pitch. There's no one there. 8 years old, 9, 10. There's no people there. Like, you don't have a reason to go there, simply. Nowadays, it just feels like a struggle to kind of find your own group, at least when you get older. It's kind of easy to form bonds as a little kid. I can imagine that many of the people who are watching these kind of videos, they already got a little friend group that they always have, right? They're kind of the one that hops on Discord. Like, imagine first day of school and he's about to meet 3 different people. You got the one who's just screaming in the hallways, just running down and screaming at people, a kind of weird one. The second one is just a coward. He doesn't want to participate in anything, but you kind of care for him because it's kind of cute. And the third guy, that's just the one guy in class who just eats glue, like the glue eater. And like those 3 people, they're your bros from that day. You just keep on having conversations and just stick together for the next 10 to 15 years. Right, it was so easy then. Like, here we are kind of as adults and just find it hard to connect with people at all. And it's even more frustrating when you want to have kind of networking and you want to find other people. If you are like me, you're definitely heard the saying that we are the average of the 5 people that we hang around with. But you just think like, damn, like I don't even know 5 people. I don't even have one guy that I kind of relate to, that just understands my struggles and want to grow with me. The 5 people that you kind of hang around the most is like YouTubers. You don't have it, who you don't even have any social interactions with. You just kind of watch them through the screen. That's the only kind of relatable friend that you have. Naturally, having a YouTuber that you follow is kind of, that's normal, right? But you can't really expect him to follow up on your self-improvement journey. You're not weird for feeling this kind of anger, feeling this kind of anxious feeling about not having other people, but you really want to connect to them, but you don't really know how. This is unfortunately normal, at least for the settings of guys who kind of distance themselves from just regular people who you can't really associate with. You might feel like when you are in new social settings, you don't really feel that you have anything to contribute to it, even though it's not true. You absolutely have, but you don't really click with all people. I know that feeling very well. My friend, you are not introverted. You are not that label. The simple one thing that you feel this kind of fear and you don't really click with people. New people that you meet does not match your new interests and your new hobbies. Your head is filled with large ambitions about making money, being free from restraint. Like you go to the gym, you eat clean, you meditate, you journal, you read. All of these kind of new interests that you have. People are not like you. They don't do this kind of activities. They see you as an outcast and think of you like kind of a weird man. As you've grown older, your mind has sought new interests in other activities. The other activities have kind of piqued your mind and you want to develop, want to be better at these new hobbies that you have acquired. We become more selective. We want other people who are a good influence on us, over us. Finding people craves work. Self-improvement is kind of a wonderful journey. It feels nice to be on the right track, but it can be a very lonely journey. Kind of one thing that I've noticed is that when you go to new areas where you want to self-improvement, kind of maybe say if you're going to the local park kind of to meditate, the probability of finding someone, just finding another man who's more similar to you is just much more bigger. And once you really like the people that you are around, you're a lot more extroverted than you originally thought, because now you just simply found someone who matches your interests. It doesn't really feel very stressful. The chances are when you talk to people where kind of the self-improvement sphere is active, people just doing good habits, one day you might find that there's just another guy who's on self-improvement, kind of one lonely bro who's on the same journey as well and can really associate with yourself. You may find that the lonely bro that you talked to that day is just so thankful that you approached him first. Find another bro who's simply just trying to survive in this kind of lonely world, and he'll be so thankful that you were the one to take the first step. The Discord that I had created, I have made it in mind for gather people with a similar interest. So if you don't necessarily find someone who's on this path yourself, my Discord is always available and I'm on it every single day. You're not introverted. You simply haven't found the right people for you. Stay strong. Work on, bro.